What is up, motherfuckers? Not that anybody gives a flying fuck, but I just kind of wanted to make a vlog entry for my stupid channel. Pretty much gave up 40K because Games Workshop is insane with their pricing and stuff, and fuck them. But and I do have, some GW stuff left, mostly fantasy stuff. Like I kept some of my, chaos dudes that I was working on, and undead, some Skaven, I like Skaven, but I've been having a hard time not buying 40K, and not that I've really been working a lot, so it doesn't really matter. But a while ago, I picked up this Star Wars Legion Boba Fett, which I've already opened and everything, and I just have the cards and stuff inside here. And I built him a while ago, and I started painting him, trying to decide on what shade of green to use, but that's irrelevant. But I bought this sucker a couple years ago, I think maybe a year and a half ago, and we look at the price point. This is $12.99. I'm not sure if this was retail. I mean, the shop that I buy a lot of stuff at has pretty good prices on stuff. But this was, like I said, a year, maybe 2 years ago. It's just been sitting on my shelf. And I like Star Wars regardless of the way things have been going with the franchise, as it were. I still fucking love Star Wars. I always have. And even a lot of the newer stuff is kind of meh, but it's still Star Wars, so I don't hate it. I haven't really thought about playing Legion, but maybe I'm kind of considering it because I've been looking at a lot of the miniatures they have in their range, and it's pretty good stuff. It would be fun to paint, and there are other rule systems. There's like an old West End games rule set for playing like skirmish games with Star Wars miniatures and stuff like that. So also, I kind of always really kind of like BattleTech. I mean, it's just mech I was painting, nothing too fancy, just farting around. But I like the Timberwolf. Some people call it Mad Cat. I'm not really too sure why. I think it has something to do with that's what the Inner Sphere people said, that it supposedly looked like a cross between a catapult and a something else. Maybe it was a cataphracт, maybe, I don't know. But I've played Mech Warrior video games for a long time. Since I was a kid, I liked Sega Genesis, and I thought the idea was cool. So I've been painting up some BattleTech stuff here and there, and just painting, really. Haven't played the game. I'm really more interested in playing Alpha Strike BattleTech, which I've got 3 of the boxes that were released or whatever. Good products. I recommend them for starting sets. It's a new war game. It's not gonna, cost you your firstborn to play some BattleTech. Good stuff. But anyway, the reason I got this video is I bought this today. I just finished watching season 3 of Mandalorian, and honestly, the 3rd season was kind of, I mean, the 1st and 2nd season were great. I enjoyed it. The 3rd one was kind of, kind of effed off the way they did Gina Carino. I mean, I thought her character was sweet. I mean, they're trying to fill it up with Bo-Katan, but I guess it works. I mean, it's all right. I mean, they could have done a lot better, I think. I mean, it's really, the Star Wars now is just like Hercules and Xena in the fucking 90s. That's what it feels like to me. I mean, I love both those shows. I love Sam Raimi. Everything he does is fucking solid gold. But as far as like, the production quality, it just kind of just keep the story moving. It just doesn't feel like a lot of the new Star Wars stuff that's come out like the last year or so, like the shows and stuff, or it's like, it's almost like the soul is gone. But I mean, it's still Star Wars, so I watch it, you know. Obi-Wan's a letdown. But anyway, I got this thing, and I want to look it up, look inside of it, and see what it was all about. Because this is kind of a product comparison of, you know, a year, I guess, Asmodee bought, was it Asmodee? Or Atomic Mass Games bought this up, something like that. I don't know. Get my little knife, but I just wanted to open this up and see what the hell is inside of it. And I figure I would talk to myself while I do it, because the older stuff, the last time I bought Legion miniatures, they were pieces. They weren't on a sprue. So this is new. That's pretty cool. Not really complicated, but yeah. Could be some potential kit batching stuff with these models. That's interesting. And then, you know, you got all your stuff for the game. Different counters and stuff and whatever. That's Baby Yoda. It's a Baby Yoda Pog. Man, future past me would have killed for that in the 90s. Different cards and stuff. Yes, these are game aids for Legion. Like I said, I know nothing about this game. But Fantasy Flight always was crazy about the different card sizes. Abilities. I don't know if these are good or not because I don't play this game. But the art is cool. He's got Baby Yoda all swaddled up there. That's a nice touch. Baby Yoda's looking at it like a gangster. It's like, I don't even care. That was a cool scene. This is a stat card. I'll have to, no. Anyway, so, blah, blah, blah. Just looking at stuff. I think I'm probably going to get into Legion. Just because I think it might be cool. I know they have released like a skirmish rule set. Bases. Oh, this must be the how to assemble. Oh, see, that's a nice little poster. That's nice. That's a nice touch. Whoa. Okay, read this first. I'll read it later. I don't feel like reading it right now. Oh yeah, so that's cool. Probably gonna build this up. Not on here, but I guess the whole point was to compare it to the Boba Fett that I had bought before. This feels more like a hard plastic, whereas the older miniatures were kind of a soft, kind of almost, I wouldn't say squishy plastic, but bendy plastic, kind of more akin to Reaper bones. Well, this is actually hard plastic. That's pretty nice. It's a nice touch. I kind of find I do prefer the softer plastic material, though. The plastic can get so brittle, and just like this thing on this rifle, I mean, you know that's gonna fucking break. And if it was made out of that softer material, it probably wouldn't be perfectly straight. I mean, it's nice detail, but that's gonna break. Eventually that is gonna fucking pop off. And then, you know, you just got a busted ass musket thing on his back, which I'll probably use. I like that rifle. But plastic is good. Hard plastic is good. Much more crisp details. Looks like Baby Yoda has some head options. 2 head options. Regular and frog eating from the looks of it. I was kind of hoping there would be more options for Mando's arms. I mean, we've got the pistol and the rifle, and that's really on his back. And then this other arm, it would have been nice if they had, like, you know, I say that Beskar staff that he had, right? You know, that I thought that was a fucking cool weapon. I don't know why they didn't keep that. Spears are underappreciated as a weapon, I think. Or the dark saber, maybe. But the Moff Gideon actually has a dark saber. I wonder if they ever release a Bo-Katan, which they probably will at some point. She'll probably have one too. But yeah, so I mean, this overall, I mean, $24.99. You know, hard plastic. It's probably more expensive to manufacture. Fair enough. You know, because you know, politicians make dumb fucking decisions. Everything costs, you know, 3 times as much now. So I guess, you know, I mean, literally, it's just double the cost of. It has doubled the cost from when I bought the Boba Fett miniature. I mean, that could say any number of things, depending on who you're talking to. Could say that, you know, different company bought out, you know, whoever was making them before, and now, you know, they, I don't know, using hard plastic. I mean, is it really that much more expensive? I mean, I don't think so. And for my money, the less superior material. I mean, I think the softer plastics that they were using before was great. I had bought a starter set. Oh, I think I got it in a trade, actually. I got a starter set of the original box for Legion when it came out, and a guy had like some goddamn Space Marines, and this guy was like, "Oh, I'll trade you these Space Marines for all the Star Wars Legion." Well, straight up, I had like the whole entirety of Wave 1, which consisted of I think it was a Snowspeeder, the core box with the Stormtroopers and the Rebels, Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker, 2 of those Rebel Walker things, and an AT-AT for like pretty much like the Primaris side of the Dark Imperium box set, which was, you know, I assembled them and I painted up some of the Stormtroopers and stuff, and eventually, you know, just I sold it off or traded it to somebody or something. But I mean, when I assembled those, even, and that was probably 3 or 4 years ago that came out, and I was impressed with them at the time. I mean, the scale is a little bigger than 40K, obviously, and you know, I think it's a decent product, you know. But still, even though the cost has doubled, I mean, you're used to spending, you know, $30 on a character miniature, 40K, you know, and now some of them like $50, right? So it's a cheaper alternative. I mean, this one is 2 miniatures. I think some of the other ones are a little bit cheaper. Like, for instance, Moff Gideon. I think he was like $17 or something at the shop that I just went to pick this up today. I was gonna buy one online, but eBay was the prices were retarded. It's like, okay, I want to buy a $24 miniature, and yes, I would also like to pay $24 to ship the cocksucker to me. What the fuck are people thinking? I don't know. Anyway, I mean, I feel more sorry for the dumb shit that actually is going to pay for that shit. Yeah. What the fuck? Yeah, so I'm kind of all over the place. I don't know. I've just been working a whole lot. I'm really tired, and I wanted to open this and look at it, and I just wanted to kind of make a stupid video about shit. But, you know, yeah, so there's that. Baby Yoda. I was honestly more excited about the Baby Yoda miniature than I was the fucking Mando. But there they are, all their glory. I'm kind of torn on how I'm going to paint it too. I don't know if I want to paint it with like the shiny metal armor, or if I want to paint it where he's like in the beginning where he just has like the helmet and all of his other armor is like shitty. I thought that was cool. That was cool looking. I like shitty things that are shitty looking. More fun and interesting to paint. And also bought a rock elemental for Reaper. I'm fortunate enough to live close to the Reaper factory, where they have their stuff made in China. I don't know, but these are actually pretty cool. You just kind of slide them in. Just about. And then you have one Earth Elemental. I'm probably going to go crazy on painting this guy. By crazy, I mean intensely dry brushing and then using a bunch of flock and fucking basing and glue. This is cool. I wanted an Earth Elemental for a while. I think I might actually have one of those stupid D&D board games where they have, like, you know, the tiles. D&D Adventure System board games. Those are actually pretty fun. I really enjoy playing those. And they're solo play. For a fucking reclusive shut-in like myself, they're perfect. But yeah, a little super glue. Stick these on. I'm probably going to cut off that integral base, slap them on maybe like a 40 millimeter GW base, or maybe a 32 or something. Maybe a 40 millimeter would probably be good. If I have a 50, maybe, just to make his presence bigger. I'm also painting up some Reaper miniatures. Yeah. These are from their Dungeon Dweller line. Pretty great. Pretty great. Reaper miniatures. ReaperMini.com. This is the Dungeon Dweller line. Really old school looking miniatures. Back when I first started messing around with these little guys, it was Ralph Partha miniatures. It's like the mid 90s or early 90s. There was a kid lived down the street, a buddy of mine, Paul. He was in D&D, and he was a few years older than me, so he knew a bunch of people. He was in high school at the time, and I was probably right about to enter junior high. So he was all into that kind of stuff, and really kind of got me into a lot of the nerdy shit that I'm into. But they remind me of some of the old sculpts, like this thief. I had a thief that was pewter from way back in the day. It was basically the same sculpt, although the hand and the stuff was like still attached to the cloak. It was like a sculpt on the top. It was the same freaking sculpt, and there's been like, I've had like 4 or 5 different thieves over the years that have been basically the same pose, different artists, different sculptors, different companies. It's just such a classic pose. I dig this thief. Sorry, it's shiny. It's all varnished. But yeah, nice miniatures. Great for your fantasy stuff. They have some sci-fi stuff, but their bread and butter is like fantasy. Reaper. Have this elf is also from their Dungeon Dwellers line. I painted him up kind of based him on the colors of the Hero Quest elf from the old school Hero Quest. I bought Hero Quest, and I didn't like the elf in the new one. I thought this one was pretty cool. Yeah, good character minis. Yeah, Reaper had a ton of monsters, all kinds of crazy shit, man. Other than that, this is I play Mech Warrior Online, and one of the first mechs that I bought with my C-bills was the Timberwolf, because it's kind of like, I figured, this one's like on all the covers, man. It's gotta be a good one to have for the online fucking shooter multiplayer game. And the first one I bought was a Timberwolf Prime. It's an Omni mech. For those of you who don't know, Omni mechs can, they can change their components out to kind of, change your weapons and stuff out. And this is the reason I bought it, because it was heavy. I put all kinds of different weapons on it, and it served me well. But I ended up naming it Betty, and eventually it became Evil Betty. And this is kind of like my trademark little thing. It's this pink X on the side of the cockpit. And the reason that's there is because you get decals and shit, and the Mech Warrior Online that you can slap on your mech. And like I had like this X that looked like a spray painted, so I was trying to make my dude look cool. So I just put the X on there, and it kind of just stuck. So this is Evil Betty. Going for a pirate theme for my mechs. Yeah, and these are the colors. So a lot of the colors that I use. So I'm not really big on mech warrior fiction. I hear it's all the rage and whatnot, but you know, I don't have time to read. Not like that. Not like if I'm going to be reading, I want to be reading rules or something, or reading the news or whatever, you know. Anyway, that's really all I've got to say, and hope everyone's doing well, and fuck the system.